came to me because I was in a car yesterday traveling with my significant other, and we went through a Jewish community. And traveling through this Jewish community on a Saturday gave me such a different perspective in life about my own community. The first thing I saw that stuck out to me more than anything was families walking down the street. I'm gonna say this once again. The first thing I saw that was very prevalent to me in this Jewish community was families walking down the street. And then when I saw this, immediately I got emotional because it just brought to me an understanding that I never seen that as much. I never seen that really in my own community. I see people walking down the street. I don't see families walking down the street. Right. So that kind of emotionally got to me. And then the second thing I saw was fathers pushing strollers down the street. That really got me in my bag. It really, and I'm just driving and I'm seeing this, and I was overloaded in my spirit. You know, even though physically outside I wasn't crying, I was on the inside, I was really bawling because that is something that I never see on a whole. Now you might see one or two brothers, maybe, newborns might be pushing somebody down the street with a stroller or carrying them maybe. But families, droves of people, families walking down the street, fathers pushing strollers, many fathers, not just one, not just two. I think we had to pass about at least 15, 20 strollers, families walking down the street. I don't know where they were going to different places. And it really hit me. The teaching of communities really hit me. Because in this Jewish community, they're tight-knit. Anytime a father can walk down the street with a stroller with his wife and his kids, and ain't nobody laughing at him, making him seem like it's improper to do or anything like that. It's the natural norm for them to be walking down the street as a family in this Jewish community. And I just was thinking about the Black community, or how I grew up, and I don't remember none of that. I remember maybe going to the store or and then maybe sometimes we might get in the car and go to church, but on a normal, nice day, just seeing families walking down the street with strollers. That's in my community, that was not the norm. It was actually abnormal, right? It's not the norm. And I'm thinking of how strong and how clean that community was. In the presence of a father, and how important that was. And it made me think about my message today. And I know today ain't Father's Day, but every day is Father's Day, just like every day is Mother's Day. And so today's message, for those who can hear, is dance with my father again. Now, some of us grew up in life with no physical father, but we had mothers, and those mothers that were really focused and concentrated on the nourishing part of life taught that child about their second father. You see, because you don't just have one father in life. You got a physical father and you got a spiritual father. And sometimes when that physical father cannot be there, that spiritual father is going to get you through. Now, some of you may not have a belief in a spiritual father, But there is a higher power in the works, whether you want to contain it as a masculine energy or feminine energy. There's a higher power at work. And within that power brings us understanding. And I'm going to show you today the difference in that power of understanding when it comes to that masculine side and that fatherly side of the spirituality that we all possess. So our message today, if you could tap the screen, share the live, and tell a friend that we're on this morning, is dance with my father again. Tap the screen, share the live. So fathers are important in children's lives because they provide guidance, support, and love. This can help children develop emotionally, socially, and intellectually. So let's dive into the emotional development. See, fathers can help children develop a sense of security and self-esteem, right? Fathers can help children learn to manage their feelings and empathy with others. And fathers can help children develop emotional intelligence. Women have always looked for a man who has emotional intelligence. Now, I'm going to show you how the higher power that I believe in, that the God in me, what he believes in. Let me tell you how he works. There's some things in life that we try to do and we try to manipulate our way through. But the spiritual God always taps us on the shoulder and either say yes or no. I know this to be true for myself because there was things in my life that I wanted to do, but he kept me out of harm's way. I know this to be true for myself because no matter how hard I tried to get into that thing, he made sure that I was not a part of that thing. And then he showed me the outcome of that thing later on in life, which gave me a sense of relief and comfort that I had somebody watching over me when I didn't know better for myself. That's that spiritual father. See, the physical father, if he was there, he would make sure he would tell you no and be stern about it, and you would hear his words and you wouldn't move. See, some people need that physical father, but then some people need that spiritual father so they won't go even further and be disobedient against their physical father. See, that spiritual father is going to give you a sense of consciousness, right? You're going to see things happen in the world like people taking drugs and different things like that, but that spiritual father is going to show you something like, hey, look, you see what's going on. This is not you. And no matter how much your physical say, well, let me try, your spiritual is tugging on your spirit in such a way that it's saying no. Therefore, it disciplines you. It disciplines you just like your physical father would discipline you. In such a way, it makes you know through this tone of the voice, through the tone of the spirit, this is not for you. That's why I wish I could dance with my father again sometimes. And all it takes is really prayer. All it takes is really meditation. All it really takes is you sitting down saying, this is what I want out of life. And it's funny. This morning, when I came up with this message, I would hope that everybody would want to hear something about why we're not in the space we need to be in the world today. With all the wars going on and our presidency out of order, there were a lot of fathers that are absent in the flesh in a lot of people's lives. But the spiritual father has always been there, but we never stopped to talk to him. We forgot how to prostrate and talk to him. We forgot how to thank him in the time of joy and in the time of need, show him that we still love him regardless. And so therefore, a lot of us are lost spiritually. We're just not lost physically in this world. We're lost spiritually as well. And as the more we forget how important a father is in our lives, the more we forget how important the spiritual father is in our lives, we fall deeper into the abyss. Socially, social development. Fathers can help children learn social norms, values, and appropriate behavior. Fathers can help children develop social skills and ability to establish healthy relationships. And the spiritual father shows us right and wrong when we begin to speak to people. This is a deep message for some, and I can see why it's hard for people to swallow the father figure. This is a deep message for some, and I can see why it's hard for people to swallow what a man is in their life, because they may have never had a man in their life. A good man. A good father. And maybe that is why you can't have a great relationship, because it's hard to know what a father is. It's hard to know what a man is in your life if you haven't had a good father to represent. And I get it now, and I understand. Because the spiritual father works differently than the physical father. The spiritual father can't give you that physical touch, but he can work through a man if that man is willing to be led by the Spirit to give you that physical touch. That's why in your vetting process in relationships, you should get a man that is spiritual in nature, because God can work through him to humble him in times of his misleading or guidance in life. You see, when the spiritual father deals with a man, he works on his consciousness. And so when he begins to speak socially, he's going to speak with awareness, and he's going to speak with an intelligence to understand and how to bring people forth and together and unite and not divide one another. But when you don't have a father of understanding, then you'll have turmoil like we have today. See, in life, we all taught to be one and not be unified. That's why it bothered me when I was in this Jewish community and I walked down the street. I was driving through and I seen all of these families together, because it let me know how people are today. They're so divided that they don't know how to be a family unit. They're so divided today, they don't want to understand that God has put us together so that we can unite and be more powerful, not divided amongst each other. And so a message like this really hits people in such a way, it makes them think a little bit more about their life. And a lot of people don't want to think. And I get it. I get it. I understand. They want to dance with the devil. They don't want to dance with their father. Intellectual development, fathers' level of education and success on the job is linked with their child's intellectual abilities. We have a lot of women today who are very successful and may not have a physical father, but I believe they had a spiritual father looking over them. I believe they had a praying mother and a praying grandmother. I believe that within that teaching and that emotional teaching that the mother gave about their second father, it gave them a foundation, a sense of awareness, and it made them stronger in life. Playing with fathers can help children develop self-control, problem-solving skills, and self-regulation skills. I remember sitting down with my granddaughter, and we were in the house, and she was sitting on the couch, and she was playing. We were playing with each other, and she started punching me. And I said, well, where did she get this behavior from, this punching thing? And so every time she punched me, I would tap her. She punched me, I tap her. And in her mind, it was like, wait a minute, this hasn't been done before. So I stopped and I said, every time you punch me, there's a reaction that will happen. And if you don't want to get punched or tapped back, don't do that to me. That is not right for you to do. And it hit her. And it was something that maybe nobody ever sat down and talked to her about. But she immediately stopped and came over and gave me a hug. And for the rest of the day, we did activities that had nothing to do with hitting. And it made me think, I wonder if I actually sat down and talked to my son about females hitting. And I don't think I did. That was a lesson that was overlooked and missed. And so after we discussed it on the phone, it became an aha moment. Like those little lessons of keeping your hands to yourself is a father thing. You only fight force with force when force is brought to you, not just for the sheer pleasure of doing so. That's a lesson in life that fathers bring to the table. When I watch different things on social media, like people practicing jujitsu or practicing MMA, I always see a man teaching a young lady. And I'm seeing the reason why is because a man brings a different discipline than a female would. And it's not saying that a woman can't raise a child. It is saying that a man brings a certain energy, a certain discipline when doing so. So it helps that child to develop socially a little differently. It helps that child to develop intellectually a little differently. You know, other benefits of a man is children with involved fathers are better equipped to navigate life challenges. Children with involved fathers are less likely to drop out of school, become addicted to drugs, have a child out of wedlock, or end up in prison because they see a good example of a family. And I wonder, as I'm watching yesterday, these Jewish families in the community, I wonder if our community saw more of that. How would that be? How would that change the dynamics of how we live our lives? But our families were broken up because of a social construct. And you wonder why the Black family is in disarray. It's because of the social construct of it all. And I get it and I understand it now that when you want to tear down a people, you got to tear down their construct. You got to tear down their belief system, their value system in order for them to see something different. And so now that when I really analyze our community and I don't see fathers out in the forefront doing what they need to do, I see why now, because when you tear down the family structure, you make the man feel much less than who they is. On the job, you make him feel less than who he is. And so therefore, in the community, he can't function the same way. We got leaders, individuals, but we don't have units united. You see, that is the problem that I see so far. And now I understand now that when something is broken in that fashion, it is hard to mend together because of the pain. There's a lot of pain in the urban community. There's a lot of pain in the Black community because we're not together. Some of it is not of our fault, and some of it is of our fault. Because I read somewhere when you were a child, you did childish things, but when you became a man, you put childish things away. And somewhere along the line, we forgot to put those childish things away. We live in a world where decision making has to be quick and on your toes because AI and all kinds of things that are in position causes people to not know who they are and what they should be. They don't know how to play their part. Men and women want partnerships, but no one want to play their part in the partnership. It's easy to have the ship, right? It's easy to have the roof and the cover, right? But it's hard for people to learn how to play their part. See, in a relationship, there's a man and there's a woman, and they each play individual roles, but they come together to unite to create this ship that's going to carry the children, that's going to carry the community. But if nobody understands what a mother is and who a father is, then the community is broken. And that's why I say this morning, you should want to dance with your father again, so that you can get back on the spiritual foundation that is needed for you to move forward. And you might say, "Hey, Jermaine, I got this," but there's no I in team. There's no I in team. Friday, when I was speaking to the patients, it was a room of 22 patients who came out to listen to a message from me about how they can divert their negative energy into positive energy. And I had them all participating. I had them all believing that their life was not over yet. And they understood it. But see, a lot of people today believe that their life is over with. They're doing anything and everything under the sun because they feel as though there's no consequence. But there is a consequence. You might not see it now, but it hits you later on. Because the Father that I know, the discipline comes in time. And that's why I like to once again dance with my Father. Because I realize that every time I do that, I get a spiritual awakening. There's some sort of value that comes my way. There's some sort of love that comes my way that wakens me and arouses me to see that everything ain't so bad as it is. I understand that we have a president in office that's making headway and doing things that are unfathomable. But I'm not moved by that because the Father that I serve is stronger than that. The Father that I serve keeps me bound and aware of what can be and not always what is. You see, it's hard if you don't understand the Father that you serve because you will run like a chicken when things go wrong. It's hard for a man to say, "I apologize" or "I'm sorry" to his woman if he don't understand that the spiritual Father is working with him on the inside. It's hard for a man to recognize and bow down and say, "I'm sorry" or "I apologize" to his children when he doesn't have the Father working with him on the inside. See, I understand a little bit more that no matter, even if God is with you, if you ain't with him, there's a one-way relationship. There's a one-way partnership. There's no partnership. It's just you sailing out there alone. But when you got God on your side, anything is possible. And no matter what family structure is broken, it can be mended. Let me tell you the difference between a mother and a father. See, mothers may perceive as more attuned to their children's emotional states, often expressing their love through physical touch, comfort, and acts of service. They have overprotective tendencies, Some research suggests that mothers may be more prone to overprotecting their children all the time. Emphasis on emotional security. Mothers may prioritize a child's need for emotional security and personal safety. You know, the mother is always protecting. I've seen that even with animals. If a father is disciplining, the mother step right in and say, hey, it's all right. That happens a lot, right? Because mothers are overprotective. And that's that emotional draw that mothers bring. Flexibility and discipline. Mothers may be more flexible and sympathetic in their approach to discipline. And that's why we have a lot of emotional young boys out here today. Because the discipline was he needs a hug, when actually he probably needed a belt. Or he needed some sort of form of order. This is what the father emphasizes in independence and challenge. Fathers may focus on fostering a child's independence, resilience, and ability to face challenges. I'm looking at Deion Sanders and his children. I'm looking at LeBron James and his children. I'm looking at Shaquille O'Neal and his children. When you train in a child in such a way that's giving him, Grand Rising Just Excel, when you're training a child and giving him the discipline and the challenge necessary for him to be a greater person, it gives him a sense of belonging. Fathers often seen as engaging in more physical play and activities that encourage exploration and risk-taking. Fathers do that. Fathers allow that energy to be exhorted in a different way. And like I said, I've watched many, you probably watched it yourselves online, many people who have many men who are teaching young women how to discipline themselves in such a way, not only just to protect themselves, but to understand their strong side as well as their feminine side. Consistency and predictability. Fathers may be more likely to provide consistent and predictable approach to discipline. You know, if you do something wrong, you're going to get it. Whereas a mother might say, don't do it again. Indirect expression of love. While fathers may love their children deeply, they may express their love in more indirect ways, such as through encouragement and support of their child's goals. Just being there is enough for a child to say thank you. Just being there. Just being there for your children can be enough. They just want you to show up. But a lot of people don't want to show up. And now I see and I understand, because as a man, you don't know that inner strength that you bring to the table allows that child to know that they're safe and they secure. Just like women want to be, when they're around a man, they want to be safe. They want to feel safe. They want to feel secure. But if you're showing up as a weak man, if you're showing up as someone that is not a protector and a provider, they either run over you or run through you. They just want to feel safe. They want to feel like somebody got their back when they're going through. Just like a child wants the same thing. So the difference between a woman and a man is that man brings that safety net. That man brings that safety net. And it allows him to play his part. That's why I would love to dance with my Father again and again and again every day. Because as long as I know that spiritually he has me abound in the ways that I should go, no matter what I do in life, he's going to be there for me to guide me through thick and thin. And we all have our own personal struggles and journeys that we have to go through. Some things weren't given to you properly in life, and you have to learn and bump your head sometimes, right? But that spiritual father, when he loves you, he won't leave you or forsaken you. And he's going to continuously show you the ways of your life, the ways of your actions. While fathers may love their children deeply, because I know I love my son, but sometimes hard discipline and the fact of do it yourself, get up and make it happen. That talk inspires him. See, you have to understand, when you coddle people too much, they do things that are not of greatness. We all can be great in our own way. We all can unite in our own way if we weren't coddling one another. Instead of being more stronger towards the goal, which is to unite, create a family structure and a community that is growing and evolving consistently. And that's why I say that yesterday when I was riding through that Jewish community, I was shedding tears on the inside, because when I saw those families, when I saw men actually pushing strollers down the street, men with their children, men with their wives, grouped up through a whole community, I saw a united community. And we could sit here and say that the man did this and the man did that, and we could say all those things. But when you have examples of what family structure can be and you choose not to still do it, how much can the man do? How much can the man do? Fathers may focus on child's future and ensuring their safety and well-being beyond immediate present. We talk about legacy. I hear a lot of people talk about legacy. See, we go buy insurance to leave a little something behind for those who are left behind. But we don't even know the purpose of what insurance really could do. We go buy this insurance, and you didn't teach the people that you're leaving the insurance behind for how to utilize it and maximize it to a greater cause. So now they're not even financially abreast on how better their lives can be because of what's left behind. They're not financially abreast on how to teach the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, because no one's around to show them financial literacy of what's being left behind. And it's funny because insurance companies will market to death how you need this stuff, but never show you or even give you a sense of what it's really there for. Like, there's no teaching behind it at all. You just got to know. You just got to know that you need the trust fund. You just got to know that you need to set it up in such a way that generational wealth can be created over time for each family member. You got to know these things. But if you don't know these things and you don't have a father in place or someone that is educated in place, you can't make it happen. And not to go on a tangent with that, but when a father is in position and a father has his wits, his emotional intelligence, everything about him, and he can lay down a foundation for people to follow, that's strong community. That is strong community. And so I say to you this morning, you should want to dance with your father again. Not your physical father, your spiritual father. You believe that you're praying every day and you're doing everything right, but there's something else that you're missing, and it's called connection. Because some of you haven't smiled in so long, you forgot how grateful you should be for the life that you have today. Some of you haven't smiled in so long, you forgot how grateful you should be for the life you have today. You may not be where you want to be, but you're sure not where you used to be. You may not be in position like you would like to be, but you sure aren't in the position that you used to be. I say to you in conviction that each and every day that you're evolving, it is because the God in you, the Father that is watching over you, he's abounding in ways that you could never understand because he's working it out in the spiritual realm. He's working it out, making sure that the universe conspires to give you the things that you need the most. You see, you don't understand that there's some people in some places that can't even eat, but you got a meal on your table. You see, you don't understand that there's some places that there are people that don't have clothes to wear, but yet you can go buy all the material things that you want. You see, you don't understand that yet there is in some places that people don't have the right to choose, but yet you've been choosing all your life. And so as you don't understand that God has been working in your favor for a long time, he has been the motivator and the source of all the things that you have in your life. He has been the motivating and the thriving, empowering thing in your life that has caused you to be who you are today. He is the mover. He is the shaker. He is the undertaker. He is the carriage. He is the one, the crutch that you needed when you needed someone to lean on. He is the person that drove you where you needed to go when you needed to get there. He is the doctor that fixed you up when nobody else could fix you. He is the person that is inside of you that is always showing you the right and the righteous way to go. The path is right because he has showed you the way. I am trying to tell you this morning that there's somebody on the inside that I call the spiritual father that is working with you abundantly. And when you think that you got it all down pat, when you think that you're in control of everything, he is looking at you and he is saying to you, no, I'm going to carry you through. See, I remember the footprints. They said the footprints in the sand was when you saw two, he was walking with you. And then all of a sudden you saw one. Well, some of us got ignorant and we say, well, God must have left me, so I'm all alone in this trip. But you don't understand that he was carrying you through. He was the one that was leaving the footprints so that you can get to your next destination because you couldn't get there. You was weak. You was feeble. You didn't have the energy anymore. And when you didn't have the energy, he took his energy and he gave you more energy and he empowered you to be the best that you could possibly be. See, some of y'all just don't understand and don't recognize the power of God that is in you. And then you can sit around and you can talk about people. You can sit around and you can hate on people. You can sit around and you can judge people, but you got to understand that you're being judged. You're being hated on and you're being in a position that could carry you to a exile in life. But there's a God inside of you that is watching over you and saying, you know what? I know you being a knucklehead today, but I'm going to take care of you anyway. You see, he's giving you leniency, but he's still going to discipline you and he's going to show you the way. So eventually you're going to get to an age, right? Because some of y'all haven't made it there yet. And I get it and I understand that you ain't going to have no time for foolishness. See, the righteous shall prevail because they don't have time for foolishness. Because like I said, when I was a child, I did childish things, but when I became a man, I put childish things away because you don't have time for foolishness. We live in a world today that is so confused, so out of order, and you don't have time to be lacking in your macking. You don't have time to be lacking in what God has given you and the power that he has given you to be. So therefore, I'm telling you, you need to go dance with your father again. You need to go to the upper room and start praying again. Some of y'all don't understand what an upper room is. What I'm saying to you is when you can get into a closet by yourself, to yourself, and recognize yourself, then you can understand where God needs you to go and what God needs you to do. So my message this morning is for you to dance with your father again. I want you to get up, stop playing with life, and start recognizing that there's always going to be a storm. There's always going to be some tornado. There's always going to be some rain in your life. But God, the spiritual father inside of you, wants better for you. And he can take you through if you just believe. All you got to do is believe. All you got to do is believe. All you got to do is believe. That's my message for you this morning. I pray that it hits you in such a way that it gives you light, inspiration, and empower you. I'm thankful each and every day for life because I lost a lot coming up. You know, I lost my mother at 19. I never knew my dad. And he carried me through so many storms. I can't count them all. But he made me so strong. And as I sit here and I look at all my awards and my achievements in life, I say that there's no other God but him that can see me through. You see, you don't need a physical father to know what a father is because that spiritual father is going to show you everything that you need to know. And I'm so thankful and I'm grateful for each moment that I share. And I'm thankful for all of you and I'm grateful for all of you. And I pray in times of need that God is with you. Now, for those who don't believe, I don't know what to tell you. But there is a higher power that's working with you. There is a higher energy that is beyond you that you can't even fathom. But if you can tap in, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you can just tap in. No need to be a chauvinist or a feminist or any of those things. Just tap into the energy and you'll see the masculinity and the femininity in all of it. Just tap in. Tap in. And let it guide you where you need to go. So may Heavenly Father watch it over each and every one of you today. I pray that you get an understanding of what life is and who life is and how life can be for you. I pray that the God that is in you shows leniency, shows love, and abounds in you in such a way that your life becomes a little bit more easier. Your walk becomes a little bit more easier. I pray for you. I pray for each and every one of you. I pray that God continues to just walk with you through this storm that we're going through the trials and tribulations that are in your life, through your family situation and your woes. If you've lost someone over the last week or two or over the last year, may he comfort you and let you know that that person still lives within you. And if you can take their love and let it shine through you and empower you to be a better you, that it would be all their life on this earth would have been worth it because through you they live. These are all blessings I ask. In God's name I pray for you. Amen. I appreciate you guys coming through. I appreciate you guys coming through. And what happened here? And I appreciate that that each and every day that I can come on here and give you a message that it warms you and it gives you a moment of clarity. Thank you for even sharing time with me this morning. And may heaven smile upon you. And I will see you during the week. These are all blessings, right? Peace and blessings to you guys, and I have a great week on purpose. Thanks, Ash. Thank you. Thank you. How you doing today?